Hi everyone, this is Anjali from Langfort International Academy. Today, I'm here to discuss another tense that we use to describe past events, and that is past perfect tense. We will be looking at the usage, the form, and how can we use this tense with the time references before and after. Of course, at first this might be a bit difficult for you, but once you get a grasp of the usage and its form, you can use this in your letters.
Langfort International Academy. Your passport to the world of opportunities.
Okay, first let's have a look at the structure of past perfect tense, starting with active form. In active form, we write our subject first, of course, then we use the supporting verb had, followed by we present our verb in its third form. So, subject with had plus V3 form of the verb. Let's have a look at the example. Lisa had taken all her medications. So here, Lisa is the subject, had is our supporting verb, taken is in V3 form, that is our main verb. Then the remaining sentence. So taken, take, took, taken. We have used the V3 form after had. Moving on to the passive form, we start with the subject. Again, we can use the supporting verb had. After had, we will be using been. Then we write our main verb in its V3 form. So, subject with had plus been with V3 form of the verb. Let's have a look at an example. Mr. Thomas had been given all his medication. So, Mr. Thomas is our subject, had, followed by been are our supporting verbs. Then our main verb is given. Give, gave, given. Then we have written our remaining part of the sentence. Since we got some idea about the structure, both active and passive forms, let's have a look at the usage. So, when do we use past perfect tense? We use past perfect tense to talk about a past event that happened before another past event. I know by this definition some of you might be confused. Let's simplify it and try to understand. So, when I decide to use past perfect tense in my OET letter or anywhere, what I do is I take two past actions. Among these two past actions, which happened first, with that I use past perfect tense, and with the second one, I use simple past tense. So, let's again revise that. So, when we use past perfect tense, we need two past actions. Among these two past actions, whichever happened first, with that we will use past perfect tense, and with the second action we use simple past tense. So past perfect is not about using had plus V3 or had been plus V3. It's about taking two past actions and showing which of them happened first using past perfect. Let's take two events. Fell down, fractured her ankle. So we have fell down and fractured her ankle. Imagine our patient is Miss Smith. So the first thing that happened was she fell down. Second thing, fractured her ankle. So when I use past perfect tense with the first event, that is fell down, with that I'll use past perfect tense, and the second event, that is fractured her ankle, with that I'll use simple past tense. So I can say Miss Smith had fallen down. Miss Smith subject, had supporting verb, fell becomes V3 form fallen. Then with the second one I can use simple past tense, that is she fractured her ankle. And if you need to know more about or the exact use and form of simple past tense, we have another video, do check it out. So far we know the structure, we know with the first event we use past perfect and with the second event we use simple past tense. And we have constructed our two clauses, that is Miss Smith had fallen down, she fractured her ankle. So when I join these two sentences or these two clauses, I can say Miss Smith had fallen down and she fractured her ankle. So here I have used and to join these clauses. That's right, that's okay. If you want to go for it, choose and to connect clauses when you use past perfect, that's completely okay. However, I would like to introduce using time references before and after with the tense past perfect. So let's try joining the clauses that we have just made, that is Miss Smith had fallen down and she fractured her leg. Let's try to join them using before and after. Starting with before. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever you use before with past perfect tense, remember, just next to before, we always place the second event. Not the first one, the second one. Whether you start with before or the close with before is the second clause, it doesn't matter. Just next to before, it's always the second event. Now let's write our example, or try to write our example using before. So I can say Miss Smith had fallen down before she fractured her ankle. Or I can say before she fractured her ankle, Miss Smith had fallen down. Either way, if you observe these examples, you can see after before I have placed my second event. Let's have a careful look at the sentence once again. As you can see, my first event I have used past perfect tense, that is Miss Smith had fallen down. Second event, she fractured her ankle, I have used simple past tense. These things remain the same, no change in the tenses. The only thing is, when I used before, next to before I have placed my second event. Okay, please make sure that you look at the example carefully so you understand the usage of before clearly. Now, moving on to the time reference after. Let's try connecting these clauses using the time reference after. But remember one thing, unlike using before, when you use after, you place the first event next to it. So, let's try joining these clauses with after. So I can say, after Miss Smith had fallen down, she fractured her ankle. Or I can say, she fractured her ankle after she had fallen down. Either way, whether you start with after or after is the second clause, it doesn't matter. Next to after, I have placed my first event. Alright? Okay, let's analyze that sentence once again. I have used for the first event I have used past perfect. For the second event I have used simple past tense. There is no change in that rule. But what I have done is, when I try to convey this using the time reference after, next to after I placed my first event. Whatever be the order, next to after I have placed my first event. To make sure we have understood the tense, the usage of before and after, let's have a look at a few more examples. Cindy had taken her new medications before she fainted. Or Mrs. Doris had been educated on the side effects before she was prescribed statins. Or after her HB levels had dropped, she underwent blood transfusion. She started her new diet after she had been seen by the dietitian. Make sure to go through these examples once again to ensure that you have understood everything. I agree, using past perfect at first can be a bit difficult. However, once you get a hang of it, you should be able to use them in your letters, especially the ones where you have a lot of past events. And it will definitely help with your scores. Now, remember, always with past perfect, we need two past events. We are using this tense to show which happened first. So, we have two past events. The first one, past perfect, second event, simple past. And you can use any conjunctions or connectors to connect these. However, try to use them with before and after. Hope this helped you to understand past perfect tense. We will see you soon with another video. Please don't forget to share and subscribe.